You're watching Maine Biz Sunday, Maine's business news source.
Welcome back. This week we're highlighting the people selected for the Maine Biz 2009 Next List. The three folks you'll meet today are examples of the broad range of talent, diversity, and vision that's found in this group of emerging business and community leaders. With us today are Megan Williams, Executive Director of Hardy Girls Healthy Women, Suzanne Fox, President of Fox Intercultural Consulting Services, and William Selinsky, CEO of Excel Golf. Thank you all for being here. Welcome. And first of all, congratulations. How cool is that? That's great. No, really, that's a great honor. And we were just talking before we started, we do have the next winners from last year on our wall over here. So you may be over there next year. So you may be on the show all year next year. So this could be good. Well, thank you for coming and congratulations. We've got a short time, but we want to talk about kind of what the characteristics of a Nexter is and how you got to be a part of this group. One of the things I read, and I was looking through all the profiles of the ones who were selected, was this really kind of, all of them had, and all of you did too, this kind of where you converted a passion for a process into a business model for your business or your organization. And I wanted to start off and talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to start with Suzanne first, President of Intercultural Consulting Services. It's in Falmouth, right? He founded about 8 years ago to help companies interested in doing business in Asia to navigate the often confounding cultural differences that can make or break business deals. You're now serving 10 clients such as Fairchild Semiconductor, Wyman's, and Lee Academy. So my question for you is, and I read a little bit about you, was how did you have a passion for China, and that's how this got started. How did that morph into your business?
The passion for China started actually with my passion for Chinese food. Growing up, going to Chinatown in New York City almost every Sunday. And then I lived over there in 1985. This was soon after the Door to the West opened. And it has been such an incredible experience to see China change over the past 25 years that I've been involved. And I've done so many different things, living in Beijing, living in Shanghai, living in New York City, living in California, all connected to China. Moved to Maine 10 years ago, and I love Maine. It was so nice to be back in Maine after being in college at Bowdoin. And then what am I going to do with all this passion and excitement about China here in Maine? And it started actually when I found out about Fairchild opening up a big site in Suzhou, China.
There wasn't this big business plan where you said, okay, I want to get back to Maine. I'm going to Maine to work on China issues for business there because it so needs that in me. But you came here and it found you, and then they were able to use that.
Exactly, sort of organic circumstances that, I moved from California back to Maine, and what am I going to do, and how am I going to make this work? And it's been really fun to be able to do that here.
Excellent, excellent, very good. All right, I'm going to go to William. Okay, William, you are the CEO of Excel Golf. You're located in Portland, right? The company, which until recently was known as MCaddy, builds applications that turn golf-crazed users' iPhones and BlackBerries into virtual scorecard and GPS rangefinders on 22,000 golf courses around the world. You've been quoted as saying this application has the potential to revolutionize the golf industry, which I think is great. That's cool stuff. I understand it. I get it. I understand the business side of that and how that's a potential for probably some really profitable, work for you all. My question is, how did you find that one? I know you do code. You're a software engineer. How did that business niche find you? What was the moment?
Yeah. Well, so what happened was just recently the entire landscape of computers and cell phones kind of merged, and such that about 100 million people have smartphones with always-on internet connections and GPS receivers. So it was really about an opportunity, and we knew we wanted to develop something in that space and link that with the emerging social networks that were really taking over lots of pieces of our lives. So we saw that opportunity to go into an active sport, and that sport was golf, and to bring absolutely vital data to golfers that they never had access to before.
Are you a golfer?
I was when I first started, but I've subsequently got much worse. You got
to get out behind the...
Yeah, absolutely. So that was really the opportunity, was as the mobile phones exploded and as there was a single point of distribution to get onto the handsets of millions and millions of phones instantaneously, we took that opportunity and built a great start in the golf space.
Great, great. So once again, it was that convergence of the technology, this understanding of this potential industry, and you had the ability to do it.
To capitalize,
yeah,
absolutely.
They take the smartphones on the golf course with them, absolutely. All right, Megan, let's talk about yours. You're the executive director of Hardy Girls Healthy Women. It's located in Waterville, and it helps girls survive the maelstrom of today's media-saturated world. Hardy Girls is a nonprofit that mentors girls, giving them tools to grow up healthy so they can create healthier societies as adults. You're quoted as saying, there's a lot of untapped potential out there, and it's in girls. No question, girls are the future. That's quite a quote. I'm glad to hear that. And I really am interested in the work you do, because having raised 2 daughters, and the issues that you deal with are very important. I wanted to ask, I mean, once again, how did you get to this? You graduated from Colby College with a degree in women's studies and in sociology. The question I have for you is, how was it hard to make that transition from kind of the academic theoretical side of this to the actual practical, real-world things you had to deal with girls and women in the field when you started doing this work?
It was not a hard transition because it was when I was in college and studying the research and the theory out there, I was really looking for a connection to the real world. So how does this actually apply to girls' lives, to women's lives, to people's lives, and what can we do to change the circumstances? And so I got involved as actually an intern at Hardy Girls while I was at Colby, and had an opportunity actually to launch a program which we're still running called our Girls Coalition Groups. And it was just, again, it's that convergence of, a passion for social change, a passion for working with women and girls, and an opportunity that presented itself to me once I graduated in employment. Great.
And for all 3 of you, that passion for it really kind of comes through. You've been described as kind of these dynamic leaders that really moved your businesses forward in your organization. So it's following you as the leaders, which is great. So I want to talk about that a little bit too. Succeeding in Maine. You're here because you're successful. You're leaders. You're emerging leaders in Maine. Let's talk about the pros and cons of doing startup businesses and organizations in Maine. You've done that. What's good about doing startups in Maine, and what's been hard? Let's start with William.
Yeah. Well, so we're a 5-person team at this point, and that's been a slow progression since we started the company. But I think, if there's a single component for success in a startup, in a technology startup, it's a team. And I think as a whole, Maine has a huge population of hardworking, very intelligent people. And all of our team was born, educated, and raised in Maine, and I think that's a huge benefit.
Megan, let's go to you. How about you? How's it been?
I think what's made Hardy Girls successful is a combination of things. Certainly a great team makes a difference, but also having a program and having a mission that's really innovative, that is different from a lot of things that are out there. Specifically with Hardy Girls, it's, we're not trying to fix girls, we're trying to change the culture that they're growing up in, which is pretty unique in the world of girls programming, and so it has allowed us to really make a name for ourselves both in Maine and as well as across the country.
Okay, good. And Suzanne, pros and cons, startups. How was it to do business in Maine?
Well, we were talking earlier before the show started about had I still been in California, I would have been one of many people who knows a little bit about China. And moving here, it's been so much fun to be able to create something.
We're going to stop there, but we're going to keep you on because I'm going to come back and we're going to do an afterthought segment where it'll only be seen on the web, and we're going to get into a little more detail on how your business work and a little more of the nuts and bolts of your actual business and your success and what you think for the future as well. You can read all of the profiles for the 2009 Next List online at mainbiz.biz. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to hear what businesses and policy leaders were saying at the Powering Up Maine Forum held recently in Portland.
Maine Biz Sunday is made possible in part by funding provided by the Finance Authority of Maine and the Maine Department of Economic and Community Development.